Morning, guys. Alrighty. Yeah, so it looks like pretty well everything we talked about yesterday kind of played through off of the forecasting call. So it's always good to see. It's always good to get yourself in a position where you can sort of optimize these things. Right now, one of the things I'm really noticing here, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, is we are still trading this pro trend. If we were to take, sorry, we have a model for pro trend off of the cells, right? Like the real structure point was here and here. The substructure is kind of sitting within this region right here. Now, all this to say, we're reacting off of a demand zone over to the left-hand side. Now we've pushed up in, we've come down, but we haven't really broken anything relevant, right? So you can just see all of the equal highs sort of building. Now it's not to say that it's not going to hold, but where it stands right now, at least the way that I'm viewing this, I don't have a valid POI to trade from up until basically, like, we need something to get created. And the way that this could get created would be, we obviously have the extreme supply resting like this. If we were to come like this, sweep up and then break structure, that would create the potential for a flip zone in here, or an extreme that we could take into these territorial lows, all that kind of stuff, to stay aligned with like sort of higher time frame intention with the cells. Now, if like right now, like anybody who's looking for cells in here, even if they work, even if they end up blowing through this low, we don't have an actual model for this. And the reason I'm saying this is because technically we need to see a 15-minute change of character in order to sort of solidify that the sellers are going to take back control. Because right now, all this looks like to me is that we've pushed down, we've come into the flip zone in here. And essentially, like we've come up, we've run the low and then come back up. Now, if we don't break this high, we have weak lows and we have weak highs, right? So you don't need to guess what the market's going to do next. That's not what we do here, right? We want to be able to see something clear that we can basically be able to capitalize on. And as it stands right now, the only area that I would really get enticed into the market would be if we ran these lows down into here, but we still need to see some form of 15-minute order flow shift, whether it be coming from here, whether it be coming from the extreme, whether it be coming from right here. The bottom line is we need something to realign on the 15-minute for any trade idea that we have right now. So as it stands right now, there's a lot of you can get enticed into the market pretty easily, just the way that price is sitting on both sides of the market. But don't forget, in order to really be able to get into something that is going to feel half decent, we need to correlate this with our flow charts and our plan, right? So as it stands, just a quick recap, we have not changed character back down to the downside. We've created a bunch of liquidity to be able to target. Ideally, I'd like to see a sweep, right? Like that would get us back into the bearish order flow. But right now, technically order flow is bullish, but we've failed to take the high, right? And looks like now we've produced liquidity to do that. So if I had to say what my suspicions were, I would probably say that this is getting printed, and then we could potentially see some form of a take on all of this, leaving only equal highs left to basically go after. And this is very strategically placed just above the equal highs as well, right? So then we can start looking for this to possibly take some sells down into newfound equal lows after taking out higher time frame liquidity to be able to stay aligned with higher time frame EOF. So that's kind of what I'm looking at this morning. Not that I want to have like a bunch of crazy conflicting sort of narratives. I mean, the higher time frame is telling us that we're going to take out the lows, right? So when that's going to happen is ultimately what our job is to sort of decipher. And I think right now there's no clear way to really figure out what's going to happen next. So I'm going to be sitting and just kind of watching what happens, whether it be a sweep like this, come back down and then take something in here. Or on the flip side, if we just deliver from right here, I'd be looking for some sort of 15-minute character shift to then target the equals that are here and potentially run into the next supply zone beyond that. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at this morning. Taking trades in here to me is a high risk sort of move, just based on the fact that we haven't really broken anything, right? Yeah, that's fine. We're reacting to this. So we're reacting to this. Here's the thing, okay? That's fine. Reacting to this guy. Haven't really, but we'll call it a 30-minute POI. Let's go over to this 15 supply. And if we just go over to the left and then map out our demand zone that we talked about yesterday. Okay, so demand. Yeah, okay, so look at, we're in between extreme demand and structural supply, which is fine. But the bottom line, like I said, is that look, because we're reacting off of an extreme demand, I basically consider this an order flow shift, right? And it shifted here from an sort of like a decisional level. And I mean, we've now shifted structurally on the 15 minutes. So the way that I view this is that we need to realign our trade idea with order flow. So like the way that would happen would be if we took these highs, right? Something like this, and then took this low like this, then we could start looking for sells to run all of these weak lows, right? But until that happens, right now, we there's no model for anything like this right now. This high is weak, and so are these lows, right? So let something happen to shift order flow in the direction that we need it, right? Otherwise, you're just going to sit around and chase basically the lower timeframes, and man, you're going to get swept out constantly. And then when the actual good move comes, could be from up here, then you're going to miss out on that move, right? So just remember, stay aligned with what order flow is. And right now, it's very simple. Leaving from higher time frame demand, we've broken a relative or a relevant piece of structure. Order flow is bullish, right? First high is weak. Yeah, well, this is weak. This is weak. This is weak. Like there's a lot of weak areas. So when there's a lot of weak areas and there's nothing that you can consider strong, that's the whole point. That's what I'm getting at. If there's no strong area that you can confirm, and guess what? There's no trade. So let price develop a little bit further. And what I would do is set an alert when this high breaks, and then also set an alert when these lows break, right? That way, you know that ultimately this low is strong based on the fact, temporarily at least, that because we've broken through this structure point, if we were to come down like this, chances are we'll come up and run equal highs, right? But right now, this is not a strong high because it didn't break anything relevant. So that's that's it. That's all. I'm going to let you guys go. Like I said, there's just not a lot going on right this second. We have our suspicions as to what may happen, but then ultimately it's just a matter of let the market do what it needs to do. This is not a area that we would trade from until we see 15 minutes sort of realign, right? That's it. Like that's how it sits right now. There's nothing further. And then furthermore, if we look at higher supplies and stuff like that, it's the same thing. We still need the 15-minute to realign so that we can know that we can take something into the more extreme of this leg, right? So don't try to predict, guys. Bottom line, don't predict the market. Just you know what your rules are. Now it's just a matter of saying, okay, well, is there anything in my rules that I can play? And right now, there's nothing. So I trade from about 7:30 to about 10:30. It depends on the day, though. If there's a higher time frame POI, so I'll trade. So let me rephrase that. I will trade funded accounts usually just intraday. And then personal stuff with higher time frame POIs, a little bit riskier. I'll use my personal account and I'll basically trade throughout the day whenever an actual POI gets met. So yeah, typically I'm only trading from about 7:30 to about 10:30, 3 hours. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good session. We'll catch you guys around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. And if there's any trades, we'll go through them then. And if there's nothing, we'll just have half decent Q&A sessions. So we'll talk to you guys in a bit.